Oh, I think we are live now. We
Can you
will.
imagine? Just put your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think we are live. How do we see the comments? Okay, so this is where we see the comments. And then I will have to log into LinkedIn too.
See the way.
You have to log into LinkedIn to see the LinkedIn comments.
Hmm.
I think we may need to see the
Oh,
LinkedIn.
join. I've seen it. Let
Okay, you've
me.
seen it from LinkedIn.
Yes, the event will start soon. Wait for the host to start. Oh, it's live.
Oh, it's live right now. Okay. It says it's happening, so I can join here. I think we may need to see the
Oh,
link.
join. I've seen it.
Okay, so let me. So I'm seeing the comments from LinkedIn. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm looking at the comments to see the people that are here. I'm wondering where to see the comment. Please, just be a little bit patient with us. Today is our.
Martina said we are here with good music. We heard everything.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, thank God. Thank you so much for telling us that because we were wondering. It's
It's our
really
first
our
one.
it's our first one, so we are excited. We're just trying to figure out the technology. Thank God we have Dr. Augusta that is tech savvy with us so that we know what we are doing. Samuel, hello, thank you.
Hi, Linda.
Erumosale, thank you for being here. It's so exciting. We're very excited. We're finally doing it. So we are so excited. Hello, Adewumi. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you very, very much. Samuel, thank you for coming in. It's as you all know, oh, Chizoba is here. Okay, maybe we'll take a minute or two to welcome. We are transitioning from LinkedIn audio to video. So this is new and it's exciting. Chinasa, I see you. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for coming, everybody. It's exciting. Oh, okay. Now I'm so excited. We're worried when we're about to start. Like, okay, I hope we are doing it right. It's a beautiful thing that we are live. Let's just give maybe a minute or two for some other people. As you come in, please say something in the comment section, and we can. Oh, okay. So we can show your comment. Oh, cool. Oh, nice. So that's really nice. So we are trying to understand how the thing is working. So I'll just be highlighting the comments. Oh, it's a
Mm.
Chizoba says she's with us. So nice. Let's see what people are saying. This is sweet. Oh, let me be your comments manager. Oh, thank you. Please, please, we do need that. The beautiful thing about the live event is that you have to be touching so many things at once. Nice. Hello to you too. Abasio form. Oh, that sounds like a Calabar name. I hope I've not murdered it. Thank you so much for coming. Coach Bobby is here. Thank you so much for coming, sir. You see, we are excited. It's our first live event, so we are really excited to see so many people waiting for us. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, we are doing well. Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. So glad to be here. Okay, that's beautiful. This is Augusta. This is sweet. Oh, I'm liking
I
the.
know, right?
I'm liking the whole thing. I was thinking I won't like it, but I actually like it. Thank you so much for coming. We'll start. Okay, it's 2 minutes, so let's just jump right in. I'm really hoping that this year we'll have our event and we'll be able to stay on time. 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes at most. I feel like that's an advantage for the live sessions that we can really stay on point. We can take the questions from the comment section. If you have questions as the conversation goes on, one of us will be looking at the comment section. So if Augusta is talking, I will look at the comment section, and if I'm talking, Augusta can look at the comment section. It's so beautiful that we have all our friends here. Dr. Islam, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. It's such a pleasure to have everybody. Hello, Patricia and Kiruka. Thank you so much for coming. So everyone is welcome. I'm just going to introduce myself briefly, even though I feel like everyone here is just family. I feel like everyone here already knows who I am. But for courtesy's sake and for those who are probably watching from YouTube, yeah, because we're also streaming live in YouTube. So anyone who is watching from YouTube who may not be familiar with us would get to know why we are here, what we represent, and what this event is about today. So my name is Amaka, right? As you can see on the screen. Amaka Ifeduba, and I'm actually the founder and the lead coach of Scholar of Mentoring Academy. You can see our beautiful background, right? So you have it, you can see it. And Augusta with me here, all the way, she will introduce herself, but she's also like a very important person in that academy, helping us to get the work going forward. And just to give a little bit of background of myself, for those who may not know, right? I recently completed my PhD in Texas A&M University and then moved to a different state. So right now I'm in Mississippi. So if you're in Mississippi, you can come find me. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. And our academy, Scholar of Mentoring Academy, literally we do two things in this academy, like just two main things, right? Two main things is what we do in our academy. On the first arm of the academy is graduate mentoring, and that is specifically graduates who are trying to go students who are trying to go abroad for graduate school, right? If you've completed your schooling in, say, any African country or any other place, and you're trying to come, for me, it's the US. For Augusta, it's France specifically. But I guess you will provide more background on that. But for me, I guide mostly students who are trying to come to the US for school. And it's been very interesting. I have quite a number of students that I've been mentoring so far. Some of them are here already, some of them are in the process of coming. So it's very exciting to do that. So that's one part of what we do. Then on the second aspect of what we do is professional development. So we have our cohort, which is the Elevate Your Professional Presence. So if you're on LinkedIn and you don't know about our 21 days professional development program, then you're probably not on LinkedIn. That's what I think. I think if you've not seen our hashtag, you've not seen somebody post something about our program, then maybe you're not really an active LinkedIn user, right? So we've been doing our cohorts back to back. Augusta was she was one of the pioneer students, and then she graduated from being student to being something else, and then graduated again. She has been graduating for the past, this is our seventh cohort, right? So we started in July and we've had it successfully every month, having 60, 70 people. Presently, we have 70, we've had 60, we've had 50 plus in our cohort. And it's very interesting for people to come in and not know how to navigate LinkedIn, how to position themselves as professionals, how to be productive, even beyond LinkedIn, because we tend to do our coaching in a more personalized way to try to make sure that people really get what they want for themselves. So that's that about Scholar of Mentoring Academy, really. So in case you're wondering, what is Scholar of Mentoring Academy? It's two things: graduate mentoring, professional development, personal branding, mainly LinkedIn personal branding. So that's the thing. So I'll take a minute again to welcome some of the people here, and then I'll pass it to Augusta to introduce herself and tell us just a little bit about why we are here today. So Rita said, the way you laugh while talking sometimes does something to me. Oh, okay. So maybe I should laugh more. That's good. I like to hear that. Laughing is good, right? It's good for the soul. Thank you so much. Oh, Bridget, it's good to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. It's exciting. There's a lot of people here. Wow. I didn't know people would be much like this. Oh. I anticipated this time. I'm hungry to learn. Okay, we are hungry to dish it out. We are also very hungry to dish it out. That's why I can just stay in the comments all day. It's so exciting. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, everyone. So, Augusta, please go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can just get started with our conversation. And then, just to set a tone for the room, right? We are trying to keep this as conversational as possible. We are here for you all, right? We want to make sure that you get the best of the time you are spending with us, the next 1 hour of you being here. So if there is something that is said, whether I said it or Augusta said it, if you need clarifications, one of us will be looking at the comment section. Just ask your question and we'll try to address the question as best as we can. So that said, Augusta, I'm going to pass it to you.
Okay. I think no, I can hear you, Sha. So I don't know if you can hear me.
I hear you.
Yes. Okay, great. So my name is Augusta. I'm a medical doctor by training. So I'm also a doctor, but the medical type, not a PhD doctor. I'm Nigerian. I'm a very proud Nigerian. You always see me talk about being a Nigerian. And I came to France in 2023 after working with Campus France, Nigeria, as an education advisor and communications and promotions officer. And I'm saying this because it's relevant to what we're going to talk about today. So my professional title now, apart from being a medical doctor, is education consultant because I help international students achieve their dreams of studying abroad, right? And I am also a student. I'm studying a Master's of Science in Education Technology here in France. So this is really like me in a nutshell. And what Amaka said, I also participated in the professional development program, and I currently volunteer as the senior executive administrator of Scholar of Mentoring Academy. Right. So I don't like to talk too much if you know me. So I just like to give value. I will just stop there for now. You get to know me in due time.
Thank you very much, Augusta. That's a beautiful introduction. Augusta does not like to blow her horn, but she's really good at what she does. Like very, very, very good at what she does, and we're able to make progress in the work that we do because we have a synergy. We kind of work together, and we. It's very hard for me to find people that understand me as much as she does, I guess, and it's made it easy just working together and sharing ideas and improving on our program over the past 7 months. And each new cohort has always been better than the last, and that made it very exciting for us. Okay, it's 1:10 p.m. We are good on time. Oh, this is very good. Oh, this is nice. So let's get started with our conversation. Oh, somebody says LinkedIn user. I cannot see who the person is, but hello from Germany. Please beware of my delay. Nice to be here in the conference. Okay, I'm not sure who that is,
I
but
see
Germany, maybe it's
it's
Verena.
Jens Borek. Jens Borek. It's not Verena.
Is
James
who?
Borek is executive. Jens Borek, if I'm pronouncing it well, executive director, education strategy and policy.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's my network. I don't see the name, but that's cool. It's a good thing that you're able to see it. Thank you so much for coming. So we are going to get started with our conversation, right? Our topic said education consulting made easy. That's that's different, right? I'm not sure I've seen an event like that, but it was exciting when we started talking about it. And Augusta has been doing this for a long time. Myself, I've been doing it for a long time, but we've never really put together an event to talk about what does it even mean to be a consultant for education. We all know what consulting means, right? You can consult for a ton of things, right? You can consult for so many things. But when it comes to education, when somebody says education consulting, what does it mean really? So, Augusta, I guess that's a good place for us to start our conversation so that the people who are listening to us, who are probably wondering, what does it even mean? So, how would you explain it in layman terms to be a consultant?
Oh well, so we know that a consultant is someone is somewhat a specialist in a field and provides services to people who need this service in their field, right? So,
Mhm.
and education is very broad. Education has a lot to do with classroom teaching, has to do with finding a school to study in, has to do with education policy, learning design, curriculum development, school administration. So it's a very broad field, right? And many people don't really know all these aspects of education consulting. Well, when you hear an education consultant, really what people think about is someone that helps you study abroad and gives you admission, helps you get admission, or helps you write SOP,
Right.
okay, you understand, right? But like it's a very broad field, and usually people who like have this title are mainly like former teachers, former professors who have decided to now transition into consulting for schools and potential prospective students. So in a nutshell, an education consultant is a consultant who works in education, providing educational services depending on their own expertise, um, policy and all of that.
Okay, so I guess for the scope of our conversation today, right?
Mm,
Because
mm,
we, like you just said, education is so broad. We have to kind
yes.
of bring our conversation in so that the people who are here with us will probably figure out the direction we are going with our conversation. Just to give like an overview of the activities that you, as a consultant, for example, what do you do as an education consultant? Because I don't really think there is anybody who is an education consultant that would consult for
In
everything.
yes.
Everybody will have like their niche expertise that you begin to really say this is the direction you go with your own. So can you give us like better clarity on the
Okay.
activity? do, yes, as a consultant?
Okay. Wow. I do a lot of things in education. So some people don't know that I'm also a teacher, right? So today I spent like 6 hours teaching children, and I also design educational content for my students from primary school to university. But my main job, the job that I do, like the business I do really is really about helping international students get be successful in applying to studying abroad, right? And this involves so many aspects, like from finding the right school that offers the course they want to study, preparing their documents, doing the application, succeeding in the interviews, and flying to wherever they want to fly to for their program. So that's really like my main expertise, right? Even though like I do other things, but this is like my main expertise as an education consultant.
Okay, that's very interesting to know. Yeah, I guess for me it's also quite similar. Like the area, what you do is very similar to what I do, right? I don't consult for, say, general education consulting, as you were explaining at the beginning, that there is quite a lot to it, mostly under the umbrella of Scholar of Mentoring Academy. We are actually even niched to students who are trying to come to the US. So that's it. Like if you come to me now and you say you want to go to the UK to study, or you want to go to France to study, I'll probably say, okay, go meet Augusta. For me, I know like my expertise, what I can guide you through is how you can go from not knowing what to do to actually getting yourself in the US, like from the very beginning, as Augusta was trying to explain. If it's a case of the US, then there, and it's kind of similar across different countries too, but each country would have their own specifics, right? So if I want to be more directive about the US now, if you're trying to come to the grad school in the US, you're talking about making sure you have your transcript ready, you prepare a statement of purpose that is up to bar, you have your CV, then you begin to look for the money. I think the most difficult aspect in the work that I do, because I work one on one with students, and what I've seen as the most difficult aspect is finding the money. I don't know about you. What would you think is the biggest challenge? But for me, I know in the US, grad school is very expensive. People can truly not afford it. It's even hard. For example, for me, while I was in grad school, my fees for 1 year was more than $50,000, like, right? So it was more than 50,000 for a year. So you can imagine how much that is. So that's not something I could ever have afforded out of pocket. So finding the money has been the biggest challenge of what we navigate when we are trying to get students who are really interested and committed to get into grad school. But from your own end, what would you say is some of the challenges you faced in the job that you do?
Well, in addition to what you said, obviously money is a big factor, mainly because we are consulting for mostly people from Africa, and the exchange rate is something. But for because I'm an expert in France, one of the challenge is basically educating people to understand that they can come to France. Like when people hear France, they're like, "Oh my God, no, I don't speak French. No, no French, please, no French." So like, one of the major challenges is kind of letting people know that even if you don't speak French, you can study in France, and that the system is different. They're just not really comfortable with the transition, or they're afraid that they may not thrive. So I
Right.
would say that's a challenge. Besides, I mean, money is an issue, but we know that majority of the schools, public schools in France, are very affordable, like in Europe in general. And people can actually, a lot of people do self fund. Really, it's possible to self fund compared to other countries. So
Oh,
yes.
okay. That's an important information. And you're right, really. You are the only person I know who is schooling in France. Really. So
Oh,
before I met you, I've never thought about France and grad school in the same sentence. Whenever I think of France, I think of Paris, I think about going for holidays, just go and relax, go things like that. So it's right. So you have your work cut out for you to begin to get people to see the opportunities that are there, that is far better than what you have in African countries, for example, Nigeria, for example, right? So if you have the opportunity to go to France, that is it's a step up. It's a step ahead from where you are, the exposure you get, the opportunities that will be available to you. So it's really, for example, a lot of people are clamoring to come to the US. So I don't need to convince them to come to the US for grad school because they already want to come, right? But I guess, as you said, for France, you have to do a little bit more to explain to people the opportunities that they have available to them. So let's see what's going on in the comments. So that's the beautiful thing about this thing, that we can
Yes.
have two-way conversation and then we have to go to our audience and see what they're saying to us. So he said, I was telling someone 3 days ago that a lot of young people in France like to speak English instead of French. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So I didn't. Wow, that's nice. Okay, and then Rita said, currently in a francophone country, I must say the French thing is a real challenge. Oh, okay. So how do you deal with that challenge? Your school is in English, Augusta, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely. Like
yeah,
even
so
yes, completely
yeah,
100% English.
yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask, is there, what are the possibilities of students who, of course, do not have any background in French, who want to come to France? Like you don't know French, like me, that is zero, no French. I want to come to France for grad school. What is the possibility of getting into an English speaking school? I'm not just getting into the school, adapting, right? Adapting it to the country and thriving, because it's not just about going to school, it's about thriving. So, in your experience, what do you think?
Yeah. So, France is one of the world powers, right? It's one of the biggest countries in the world. And I think in terms of their education system, they're trying to open up more and more to international students. So
Mhm.
because of this fact, they are now like proposing more and more programs taught in English. At the
Okay.
moment, if I check the Campus France website, there are over 1,700 programs taught in English, which is not a lot, but for
Yeah.
France, it's quite a good number,
Okay.
and both in private schools and public universities.
Mhm.
So yes, you can find your program. Maybe you may not find medicine there. Maybe you may not find nursing or architecture, but you definitely see a lot of programs, mostly postgraduates, taught in English. So yes, it's very very possible. Then the second question you asked about thriving when you come to France. To be honest with you, I'll tell you that it's kind of biased based on the city you go to. So in
Okay.
Paris is like an immigrant city. A lot of people, different nationalities, people speak English very well here. But if you go to a village like maybe Best or I don't know, some Nancy, like some I'm very going to Nancy or
Right.
Rouen, or I was in Montpellier. Montpellier is a big city, but the English is not, up there. So if you go to a very small city, maybe you may struggle a bit. If only your school is where you speak English and then you go outside and no one else is speaking English, it may
Mhm.
be a challenge for you. But I know that a lot of international students do speak English, and most schools that offer programs taught in English also offer French classes. So
Oh,
if you don't speak any French, you can start learning from school, and you can, I think you progress faster when you're in France. Let me just give you a small example. When I
okay.
was in Nigeria, I was learning French, and I
Mhm.
could speak to some extent. I could write very well because my job was I could write a lot in French. And I could read, I could understand. But I couldn't understand when my colleagues spoke French. Like my colleagues speak French, I don't even know what they're saying, but I was taking French
Right.
classes. I had a big French. But as I came to France, within 6 months, my listening comprehension like skyrocketed. I could understand almost everything. My
Right.
obviously my speaking improved, and every other thing also improved. So I would say that if you're really interested in the language, within 1 year you'll be good, and that's a plus for you because
Right.
I mean, you are not speaking any language. You're speaking maybe your language and English before, and then you come to France, and within 1 year, you have a second, third language, which is a plus besides the high quality degree you're gonna get.
Oh, yeah,
See, I'm
that's
just
true.
I'm in my element.
No, no, no. Yeah, I agree with you. That's really true. I guess, and French is one of those, having the French, having the ability to speak it helps you. It gives you the advantage that someone who cannot speak the language actually would not have. So I guess just to go back to our conversation, right? What are some of the skills that someone who is trying to become an education consultant? Because I guess our event today was really about helping people understand what it means to be an education consultant to begin with, and then what are some of the skill sets that you need to have so that you can begin to probably assess yourself to figure out, okay,
Mhm,
do I have this skill set, or do I need
mm.
to do a little bit more of skill stacking to get myself to the point that I can say, okay, I can go into this consulting thing and make something for myself. So what do you think?
Okay, thank you for that question. So I'm gonna divide the skill sets into three parts. So we have the let's say project focused skills, like the hard skills you need for the job. Then you
Right.
have the soft skills, and then you have transferable skills, right?
Mhm.
So which one should I start with now? Let's start with the
Whatever you
main
like.
skill for consulting, right?
Okay.
So let's say you're a consultant, so you need to have like knowledge about the education system. Like, what does it take for someone to study abroad? You know, in what we're talking about now, we're talking about study abroad education consulting. What
Right.
what does it take for someone to study abroad? What are the documents that they need? Like, how can someone create high quality documents? You need to know what the CV is. Like the CV for US, as we were saying the other day, it's not the same CV for France. So you
Right.
need to really understand the nitty gritties of like what it takes for someone to apply, how they should find the schools, how they should find their lecturers or send cold emails, all those things that we do that are really like the services that we offer, CV, cover letter, SOP, all those things. You need to know them in detail. It's not just, telling somebody, okay, you should do an SOP, but what should be in the SOP, right? Those
Right.
are the like the hard skills of the job. And then the soft skills are like you need to you need to be very patient.
Right.
Hey God. You need some students will just come to you, they will not greet you, they'll be like, I want you to write my motivation letter for me. You're
Right.
like, excuse
Oh
me.
yeah. You know how it goes.
Yes, so you need to just take people as they are. The people who ask you one question over and over again may seem like a silly question, but you just need to be open, respectful, kind, grateful. Just let people know that okay, I'm here to help, but I mean, there's a limit. I can do this for you, and we need to respect each other, right? So patience and you need to be open to learning as well
Right.
because they don't know it all, and I learn from other students, I learn from other consultants, and you need to be kind of like cooperative. I would say that. So the other day, someone reached out to me and said they wanted to do a PhD. They needed a consultant for PhD. I could do that, but I already know Amaka. I know Amaka has a PhD, so I sent the person to Amaka. So you need to know what you can do and know what you cannot do.
Right.
Even if you can do, like, you need to kind of network and know what know other people that in the field that probably provide better service. Don't try to be a jack of all trades. As we said, education is broad.
Right.
Know your strengths, right? Then the transferable skills. Why this is my favorite part. I'm going to say it last because I'm a medical doctor, and like you will not really expect a medical doctor to be an education consultant. But the skills that I brought from my experience or my profession as a medical doctor is the ability to ask the questions. In medical school, we spend a lot of time learning how to ask questions. It's called clerking, like taking detailed history. If I ask you, when were you born? Why were you born? What did you want to be when you grew up? Uh, why do you want to study this course? Why did you study that course? Asking questions that will kind of unravel who the person is and make your recommendation based on the person's responses, right? And that means you need to be able to think on your toes. As a medical doctor, I was able to think on my toes, find solutions, make diagnosis, right? So you need
Right.
to basically diagnose your student's situation and provide solutions to them. What else? I wrote some things: communication skills, and then another part that a lot of people don't know is that you need to also have some tech savvy skills, right?
Right.
Unless you want to hire a VA or a social media manager, as an education consultant, you need to be able to tell people what you do. So
Yeah.
you need
I
to
was going to
be
say that.
posting
Yeah.
on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You need to be writing content, creating content, making videos. I think Amaka said she has a whole course about Scholar of Mentor Academy, how you can study in the US. So you need to be able to communicate what you do. So that's a very
Right.
important skill. And maybe if you need to design a flyer and all of that. So yeah, patience, listening, all those other soft skills that are transferable from medicine as well. Yes, I think I'll stop there.
Yeah, I guess I was going to go there with the conversation, right? Because it's one thing to know what it takes to be an education consultant, just like anything else. It's one thing to say A and B. It's a different thing to be able to communicate it in a way that people can put value to what you're doing. That is where the income part comes in. That is where you can now say education consulting as a passion and education
Yes,
consulting as a business, right?
yes.
So it's there's really a distinction there where you're able to really project the value that you carry to your clients, and they can have that confidence to say, yeah, this person carries this, and I see Zion is saying hello.
Yeah, I'm smiling. Hello,
Yeah, hello.
Zion.
Hello Zion. I just cited his name and then I was like, okay, Hi, it's good to have you here. Thank you for coming. This is our first event, so we are having fun. We are getting used to the whole studio and the whole live event. Yes. So I was just reiterating what Augusta is was saying about all the skills you need to have, and chief among them is your ability to communicate those skills. So I would say communication is a big part of what you do. Your ability to really advertise, your ability to
Mm.
show the social proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because before anybody will want to pay you for anything, they want to know for sure that you know what you're doing, like you really know your stuff, and you're not just talking, right? I think someone is asking a question. Is it? Are you asking a question? Or are you saying something? Say asking the right questions is
Yeah.
definitely paramount. Yes, you are absolutely correct, right? You are very, very correct. It's a lot of questioning when it comes to I'll keep talking about the US because that is what I know, right? And then Augusta will keep talking about France.
We
For
will.
me, I would say there's a lot of details and there's a lot of people who what is keeping them back is not that they don't have the qualifications, really. Most times people have the qualifications. You see those who are aspiring for grad school, most times already have maybe like a 2-1 or a first class degree, and they have some other experiences that make for a good package. But it's how they communicate these things and how they ask the questions and how they make sure that they're doing the right thing. So sometimes that is where you need a consultant. You just need somebody who is guiding you. You need like a coach, a mentor, a consultant, however you call it. Because you see someone who has been trying for 2 years, 3 years, and suddenly they come and meet you with the same amount of information, and then that year they get in. It just means that you
Mm-hmm.
are not doing something right, right? It's not that you did not have the qualifications and all of those things. So it's really interesting when you talk about this as a field generally, as something people can literally do as a business. So I guess that is where I want to pivot our conversation to, because some people who are listening to us may be where they are and they are wondering, do you have to be abroad to be a consultant, education consultant? Do you have can you be in Nigeria to become one? Like if you really were desiring of being a consultant, then what is Zion saying? Zion is laughing. You get to see your smiles. Oh, okay. Don't make us shy, please. I'm shy. Please, I'm shy. Don't make me shy. All right. So that's the thing. So if someone now is listening and they are wondering, oh, okay, I'm in the US, you're in France, do I have to be in those countries to consult or not? So what do you think about that?
Well, I would say no. I would say no. While my unique selling point is that I'm in France, right? I know it in depth. I already started advising people about France before I came here.
Mhm.
So, well, I would say no. Like, I don't know if you want me to show more light, but no, you don't have to
Yes, I want
be
you to
in.
kind of expand on that now in sense of, let's say someone in Nigeria wants to be a consultant.
Yes.
You were already a consultant from Nigeria. So how did you go from being a medical doctor to being a consultant in Nigeria? How was that for you? And if somebody is also thinking about that, because the reason why I'm asking you this question pointedly is because I know there are so many people who really want to make something of themselves, but they don't really know what to do. I've come
Mm,
across, in fact, so many people even reach out to me and they say, oh, I really want to a side business, or I want a business to do, but I don't know what to do. Some of all these people may already have some of these skills that we are talking about, right?
mhm,
Communication, being able to go and do research, being able to ask questions. These are not
mhm,
very impossible skills for anybody
mhm.
who is intentional to really become savvy in them. So the question now is a question of place. You were a consultant from Nigeria. How is that possible? And somebody else who is really wanting to do that, what do you think will be the first step for them? Just like an overview of what you think the people should be doing.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you said something that really lit a light bulb in my head. You said research.
Mm,
Research. That's a very powerful tool. So I would say beside two things, right? Having someone to show you how to, I mean, we already have the skills, right? So the important thing is to have the skills, but
mhm.
having someone who already does it, like who has been in the field to kind of do some sort of apprenticeship for you. If this is really what you want to do, I don't want you to be faking it till you make it, right? It's good to
Right,
be confident, but if you have someone like Amaka or someone like me who is already there, and you're like,
mhm,
okay, this is something I really want to get into, so you can work with them, right? By
right.
working with them, you learn the things that you need to do, the skills you need to have. So how I started was I always tell this story. I did not even know that there was something called education consulting or
Mhm.
advisory. But I got an offer. I applied for a communications role with the French government. That's through Campus France,
Mhm.
and it involved me advising students to come to study in France, as well as creating content on social media and many other things. But my boss was French. He is French, and he was just always there to answer. I did not know anything. I'm just trying not to, use any funny words, but I did not know anything. And
Right.
I had a great interest. Like I'm very smart. I do research. I had experience in communication, and I knew about France. I had applied for many schools at the time, so I knew what it took to do a CV. I even did a CV training with the French with Campus France, so I knew how to
Mhm.
do a CV. I knew I had the skills, but I couldn't really answer certain questions like, okay, when do students apply? When is the deadline?
Right.
What Yeah, those key deadlines. What should you do? When should you apply? What documents should you upload? What kind of school is this? Some people don't even know that there are different types of schools and universities, right? So he was just really there to answer my questions. So when I first started, if I had a question, I would ask him. He will tell me the answer. And
Mhm.
then after some time, he trusted me to answer questions to clients. So he would just tell me to copy him or blind copy him in whatever response I'm giving to people so he could see what I'm responding and correct me afterwards. After
Mhm.
like, a few months, like there was nothing like that. I was not a boss. So I
Oh,
was not able to answer questions. And
right.
after he left, I started even training my new boss afterwards because, the Nigerian system and the French system are different. So you need to have like both knowledge, like Nigerian and French system at
Right.
that time because it's a two-way exchange. So I would say get somebody to hold your hand and train you and build up the skills that you already have.
I think you said something very crucial, and that is the power of mentoring. Because I only started doing this myself because somebody else mentored me. You started doing
Mm-hmm.
it because somebody else also guided you. Yeah, so there are certain skills that you just need to shadow someone. Think it's just like the easiest way to adapt by just learning on the job type of thing. Like, okay, like overall you do your own research and you figure out, oh, these are the general skills I need to have. These are the things that this is what makes somebody, say, a study abroad consultant that can help somebody. Then the next thing I need to do is to work hand in hand with someone who is already doing that or who has been doing that for a period of time, just to understand the nitty gritty of what makes me excellent at my job. So that really stood out for me because it's the same thing for me. It's just because of like just going through that process. When you've gone through the process a couple of times, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is like this is easy. I could do this myself. Okay, we still have a lot of people here. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the comment section while we are talking and all of that. I hope I don't miss some of the comments. Please, if you have a question and if I've missed your question, that would be, I think a great way for us to do with a question is if you could let us know is a question, like just write it as a question and maybe put a question mark, because there are several comments too, so that I know which one is a question and then which one is is a comment and all of that. So Rita is saying having a leader who have your interest at heart is a gift. We are learning. Oh yeah, that's true. This is very, very true when it comes to everything in life. Just having people who are willing to hold your hand and share what they know, right? It's just that transferring of knowledge that goes a long way. It goes a long way to help. Thank you, Shizoba. That's nice. So I would ask again, what are some of those tools and resources that makes your job easier as a consultant, right? Someone who does the job that you do. I guess let me ask a two-part question so that you can take the two at the same time. You are a student yourself. I was a student, no longer a student, right? I can as well be, I can as well say that, but I was consulting even as a student, right? Even all through last year, I was helping people who were trying to come to the US while being a student myself. You are also like getting your master's degree now. How are you able to balance what you do and still excelling in your own degree without it derailing? And so with that, you can just then usher into like what are the things that you use, some of the tools that you use that make your job easier, that make it possible for you to combine that with other things you're doing in your life, right? Because it's not like you're doing it like full time, but you're able to really manage it and you've trained so many people while being a student yourself? How has that been possible for you?
Okay, so I would say let's break down the tools into two aspects. The time management tools and the tools for offering the service, right? So in terms of time management is very important. You can't be consulting 24/7. You have to
Right.
set aside time that you want to consult. So that's where my calendar comes in. I am very big on my calendar. I know the time that I want to be speaking to students, and once it's time, I start speaking to them, and once it's over, I stop. So, and then another tool I use for these services, I use Zoom. So my
Okay.
organization has a Zoom account. So like once I schedule like a call with someone, I send them the Zoom link,
Right.
and then I we have meetings there. And in terms of like other aspects like social media, right? As we said earlier, you need to have some communication and promotion skills. And I Canva to design. When I was in Campus France, I learned how to use Adobe, but I don't have the tools right now because I'm I'm not doing professional design. So you could also use Adobe tools, Photoshop,
Right.
Illustrator, to make designs because you need to sell yourself. You need to be catchy. Um, what else? What other tools do I use? Then let's say seller. I recently started using seller because you want people to go and pay. They need to
Right.
pay to buy your service. So yeah, seller is a very important tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was asking how you combine doing that with being a student yourself. How have you
Yeah.
managed to find the balance and then keep excelling at both fronts?
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned my calendar. So I have like when I wake up, I know as in I start my day with like reading a book, and then from 9 o'clock I'm doing my assignments because I need to do my school is kind of like remote, so I need to coordinate like how I school. I need to give myself school time, so I start schoolwork from 11. I do some phone calls from 11 to 2. I do phone calls with students. Then from 2 I'm checking my email for the company I work for till like 5. And then, from 6 p.m. I'm posting on LinkedIn to 7 p.m. I'm engaging. So like
Right.
I know what I do every day. Like I'm kind of
Right.
like a robot. So like from 7, 8, then I can now go to the WhatsApp. I don't check my WhatsApp till evening. So I now go
Right.
to WhatsApp and see what's happening there. And then I can go out with my friends later in the night if I need to. So it's all about time management.
I'm true, true, true. I think you're absolutely correct. I think for me too, it was all the same because as a student, my schooling was not remote, right? You cannot you cannot be a researcher remotely, right? So I was getting my PhD. Of course, I had to be there in person. So what helped me truly again was just figuring out when do I sleep, when am I awake, what time am I dedicating for people, what time am I using for myself, and that really made all the difference. It made all the difference in just having that clarity in what you're doing, and then just I would say working hand in hand with others and knowing when you need to delegate. That's another big thing that you literally have to learn how to collaborate. If you're someone who wants to go into any sort of something, just like our program, right? Our Elevate Your Professional Presence program. I could have decided to just run it all on my own from the beginning, but I only did it the first month by myself. By the second month, I knew that if I wanted to go far with this, I should literally find like-minded people like myself, and I was able to find them. It wasn't as difficult as people say. Most of the time, people say there are no good people anywhere. I say maybe because you're not a good person. Because me, I'm surrounded by good people. Don't mind me. But I feel like attracts like. That's what I think. I may be wrong, and I'm not saying there are no that people don't bite you in the back or there are no bad people, right? That's not what I'm trying to say. But the point I'm trying to make is that most times in life, your energy will attract your kind of people to you. And if you're a very open and a sincere person and you know how to follow your intuition, chances are you would also find people like yourself that would that you can come together in synergy and do something better than what you could have done for yourself. Because I don't ever believe that one person, like anything, one person should be doing something just by yourself. I feel like when you combine efforts, it's even more beautiful because people bring different ideas and all of those things. So it's been wonderful having you here. Let's look at our chat again. We have people who have been really cheering us on. Thank you, Zion. We really appreciate you.
Yeah,
See, this
thank
live
you so
team, we are
much.
still getting used to it and we are excited. Thank you so much for being here. It's exciting that to have someone who is like a LinkedIn grandmaster present and
Yes, so
helping us helping us to encourage us in our conversation. Yeah, so and then we have Best here. Say good evening from Nigeria, Edo State. Okay, thank you for being here with us. So I'm just going to reset the room briefly while I once I finish trying to see what the people are saying in the chat. Yeah, Chizoba said time management. Yep, time management is important. If you don't manage your time well in life, you really cannot achieve much. That's just the truth. If you want to go far with anything you're doing, right? Whether it's your personal brand showing up on LinkedIn, your personal business, getting an education, whatever you are doing, you need to really be the master of your time. If you are not the master of your time, what's low? It's not you won't go very far. Yeah, yes. You said the law of attraction is real. It's true. I believe it so much because it's happened to me so many times. I believe that I would attract my own person. I just believe it, and it's the truth. And Zion, Seller is a great payment tool. Have you tried Send Waves? It's easy and convenient. Okay, I've never heard of it. Thank you for
are
telling
you
us.
brand ambassador? That's a very nice one. I'll check it out.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I've never heard of it. I know there is quite a number of them. I know it's not
Yes,
just Seller, right? I know
and there's
PayPal too. PayPal too
okay.
works well for the US. I don't know about other countries, but I know in the US PayPal works is also like a very convenient tool. And then Kenneth, is that for Amaka or for Augusta? I don't even know what Eromosela is saying. I'm not
No,
sure.
Kenneth asked. I think he asked, "How can I benefit from your mentorship?"
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Maybe I missed that question. The chat is going fast. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm trying to see that question. But you say, how can I don't even see the question. It's a
it's
lot of
up.
it's
Yeah.
up. Okay, well, I can answer your question anyway. I can answer for myself. Augusta too. I think I can even answer for Augusta self. But then just to answer your question, if you're thinking about benefiting from our mentorship, it's basically in two directions, right? For me as a person, it's either you are an aspiring graduate student and your intention is to come to the US for grad school. If that's an intention you have, the US is you are hoping to come to the US, right? So you can reach out to me and I can put you through the process of how you can go from the point where you are to coming to the US for grad school. That's on one side. And then it's also possible that you are not interested in coming to the US. Maybe you're already settled where you are, you're doing your thing, you're trying to look for a job or you already have one, you're trying to build your personal brand on LinkedIn. So that could be something else that you're interested in. You're trying to elevate your professional presence. You're trying to really maximize LinkedIn, leverage it well for career opportunities, position yourself for international opportunities and all of that. Then you can join our Elevate Your Professional Presence program. So next week is actually our graduation, right? So next week we'll be live again. So let me invite the people here for our graduation. Next week Sunday is actually the graduation of the 7th cohort on Sunday. So we always start our cohort the first Monday of the month. So we always start first Monday of the month and we graduate on the third week. Then we're going to start the next cohort again February 2nd, which is the first Monday in February, and then we'll graduate February 22nd. So that's another way you can benefit from our mentorship is by joining that program. We really make it a hands-on program where we try to not just it's not just giving you a content calendar, right? It's not just saying, oh, you want to do a 21 days challenge. This is a content calendar. Go and start posting on LinkedIn. That's not what we do, really. So if you've seen some of our participants and some of their reviews, you know that we are very intentional about the thing we do, intentional about running it as an academy where you have a feel that you're actually going through school, where you get feedback. Because that feedback is the most important part of things, right? If you're doing something, you can consistently be doing it wrong for a very long time and you'll be wasting your time. And I've seen people who have been on LinkedIn and wasted their time for a very long time. So you can be doing it so wrong. You can just be showing up and spending your time, and then you wonder why it's not working. So what we try to do is to really go through the post you're creating, give you some feedback, give you that community feel. You know that it's not just you. Currently, we have like 70 people who are like 70 really, really mostly professional people. Yeah, we are very targeted. The kind of people we attract to our cohort, you get to see that is mostly people who are trying to go somewhere with their life and they're just needing a hand along the journey. So we go out of our way to provide that platform for them. So on my own end and for Scholar Hub, that is how you benefit from our mentoring. So I'm just going to let Augusta answer for herself, right? Someone who is
Oh,
trying to, yep.
yeah, I've just been liking the comments.
Oh,
So
okay. Don't be distracted.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it actually. It's actually turning out really great so far. No
Right.
network issues. Thank Baba
Mhm.
God. So about mentorship, let me tell you guys a secret. Like my New Year resolution was to start my academy for education consultants by the second half of the year, by June, July. And Amaka was like, why wait? Why wait? Start now. So that's
Don't
why she pushed
motivate.
me to do this cohort. But I'm really just starting with a handful of people. A lot of people have already reached out to me, and I've started with a handful of people that I can handle for the moment because I have major projects going on right now. So I wouldn't. I don't want to. I don't want to promise and honor deliver. That's not my style. So I'm working with a very like handful. I can count them on my this one hand. Handful of people that already have like study abroad experience. They already successfully did their own application, so they understand what it takes to study abroad, and they have the passion. They when they spoke to me, I could literally hear myself like speaking through them. So I feel like I was attracted to their mindsets, and I'm working with those people for now. Like Amaka was say, guinea pigs. So we're just like the first test run to see how that works out before I open it up to the general public. So that's what I'm doing for now. And yeah, I'm not really I don't have a lot of time on my hand at the moment, but it's something we're working on to kick off officially by June.
Oh, that's cool. And June is already here, right? It's not June is not as far as you think it is. It's about if you're building to launch a business in June, then the best time to advertise it is even last year, right? You have to just build the momentum and you have to really get people to understand what it is you're trying to do, which is just what we are doing by this call we're having, trying to really bring about that clarity of demystifying, if you
Mm,
would, right? Just trying to demystify the whole study abroad thing so that people are not thinking it's like the normal agents, the way you go
mm,
and get an agent in Nigeria and stuff like that. Okay, Zion said we'll get used to the chat. Yes, we are trying to get used to it. It's actually fun. I have to keep looking in the direction of the chat to see what is there. So we have Mamolu Sola. You said I agree that you should okay, working with a few people is better than not starting at all. Congratulations. Yeah, that's true, and that's exactly the same thing, right? I guess when we had the conversation earlier, it's just as she said. It's like if you want to do something, just get started. Just get started and see how it goes. Learn, make the mistakes you need to make, correct yourself, optimize the process, and don't just keep dragging your feet, because when you keep dragging your feet, you probably never get it done. I think that's a given. That's a principle of life. It doesn't mean you should not prepare, but then
mm.
just take enough time to prepare and then just get started. Don't just just do it now, right? I think Masala is looking for my trouble. I think he's talking about the post that I made.
Yes,
I'm thinking so. Yeah, as much as possible, just do it, right? Just do it, but please, while you're doing it, keep improving on your process. Don't just
yes,
throw
true.
yourself into something and then not prepare enough, such that you just guarantee failure. Sometimes, if you don't prepare well, no, that's the truth. If you don't prepare well, you're just setting yourself up for failure, right? But then when you prepare well enough and you start, the process of doing, as long as you're a committed person and you're someone who is willing to keep learning, you will keep improving. So I
True.
guess that was the whole argument I was trying to make on my post. And
Mm,
that was why I had to make the second part of the post so that people will not think that me of all motivational speakers is discouraging them from not starting. But I just wanted people to kind of give things more thought. Don't
mm,
just jump the bandwagon because somebody is motivating you. you go and jump into a fire and say somebody said I should. So it's about that. It's really about that balance. Okay, that's it. So don't forget to invite friends to the show. It's very informative. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. You see now we are JJC. We've not even told people to help us to repost our events. So that's why it's good to have Zion. Zion, thank you for being here and reminding us what we are supposed to be doing. So we really appreciate having everybody in the comment section. And like we mentioned before, it's our first live event and we are having fun. We are so happy the network has been steady and it just looks like we are just having this chill conversation. It's been fun. So please, if you've been getting value, help us repost. Help us repost our event so that other people can also come and get the information that you're getting, and so that they can also get excited about the whole process of becoming an education consultant should they want to do that for themselves. So please help us repost. Thank you, Zion, for that reminder. I'm reminding people after 50 minutes. Yeah, Eric, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It's so good to know that everybody is here. And Thomas says, Zion, say I'm 15 minutes tuned and I've already learned a lot. Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice. That's so good to know. That's so good to know. And then I believe that like attract like I believe that too. I really, really
Yeah.
believe that too.
I
Okay.
was attracted to Amaka just by hearing her voice.
You see now. You see, that's the truth. I believe that a lot. You know, when people will tell me that there are no good people out there, I say, maybe check yourself. Maybe you are not a good person.
Amaka.
I don't know. That's what I think because I know a lot of good people are around me, and I always have good people around me. So that's good. And I guess let me ask you another question in relation to the education consulting. So, what impact can education consultants have on their clients and their communities? You know, what kind of impact do you think we can have as consultants? You know, on the people who you're helping and just getting them to achieve the goal that they want to achieve for themselves.
Wow, this one. You see that my heart is beating because this is one I'm very excited about.
Okay.
So I'll answer it on two facets, right? The
Mm-hmm.
personal and then the global faces, like
Mm-hmm.
facets. My French is into now. um, in the personal aspect, right? People wanna have international experience. They wanna
Right.
get good quality education. Not to say that the education in Nigeria is not good quality; it's very good quality. Guys, study in Nigeria,
Are you
but
sure?
yeah, I went to UNN. Most of Nigeria is good quality education. So,
Okay.
guys,
What makes you sleep well at night? Yeah, that's good. Keep going.
but like there is a thing about studying abroad, right? Studying in a highly ranked school, having that exposure, networking
Right.
with like minds, industry leaders. I mean, that's one of the things that a lot of people want to study abroad say, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think just giving the people the chance, the opportunity, the guidance to achieve their dream is something already like it's very fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
The second part that I find most interesting is the fact that I believe that more classrooms all over the world need to have Nigerians and Africans in them.
Mm.
We always Yeah, we
Agree.
always talk about racism. We always talk about people not knowing that we have books in Africa. We always talk about people not knowing that we don't live on trees. Yeah, but I think that what we do as education consultants, helping people to find their places in those Harvards, in Oxford, in Cambridge, in OM Lyon Business School. I cannot mention my school. In those schools all over the world is very important. So I'm just give a very short story, right? When I was in my other masters, we were just two Nigerians in my class, me and this other guy, and this guy was so smart. Like the things he would say, I would just be like, wow. And then like he would dissect like the business of Mercedes, how they do their promotion.
Mm-hmm.
He would just say things that are so like insightful. And then my
Mm-hmm.
classmates started calling him Steve Jobs.
Oh wow.
Like that was the energy he was giving. And just imagine those my classmates, my French and American classmates did not meet someone like our Nigerian Steve Jobs. What would they think about Nigerians? But now that they've met him and me, obviously I'm intelligent as well. but now
You
that they've
are my
met
dear.
But now that they've made both of us, like you see the whole perspective about who we are as Nigerians, the whole perspective of how smart, intelligent, resourceful, that we can be, right? It
Mhm.
changes the whole narrative. So this impact is not just the personal impact it has on the students, right? Because you are now playing on the global field, playing on the global scale. Like we see Ngozi Iweala, she's the World Bank, right? I hope I'm saying that right. Is that the right person? I mix her up with somebody else.
Mm.
So
Is it
you have
Ngozi? Mhm.
yes, you have the chance to play on the global scale, but at the same time, we want people to want to change narratives, want people to see who we are. Look at Amaka. To see if Amaka did not go to study in Texas, how will she go and hold that mic and speak her intelligence to 10,000 people?
Ah, take it easy. Please
That's
calm
my
down. Calm
question.
down. Calm down. Take it easy. Don't.
Impact that I'm talking about. We want people to see who we are. We want to
Mhm.
show them that we are greatness.
Mm.
And this is why you should become an education consultant, because we need to send more and more people to those classrooms.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can see your passion, right? That's why I was trying to calm you down so that you don't jump out of the screen. See, your brother is calling you lioness. But I understand. I totally agree with you. You're absolutely correct. It is on us. The onus is on us as this generation to change the narrative, right? It's really on us to change the narrative. You see this narrative, for example, where people have that, oh, all Nigerians are scammers. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
how many of us have you really met? For example, how many of us have you met? We are a country of over 220 million people, that over 70% are young, the young demography, right? So people have all of this narrative that the more we step out and show what we can do, the more we push the narrative for people to know that no, please don't joke with us. We are not that. It is the people that you've met, and there are bad eggs everywhere. So it is important that we understand ourselves and we understand the greatness that we carry, as you call it. And until we begin to say, why not me? We just have to reach that point where you don't keep saying, oh, it's not, I'm never going to achieve this. Oh, this is so far fetched. Oh, Harvard is so far fetched. I can't get into Harvard. Oh, I
You
can't get
can.
into this school. I can't do this. You really can.
You
You really
should.
can do. You just to have to want to. You just have to want it enough. You just have to want it enough and be willing to put in the work that gets you into all of those kind of places. So it's a mindset thing. It's really a mindset thing. And part of the things that we do as consultants is to change the narrative, is to just step out to show that it's first of all possible. I tell people that a big part of what motivates me to keep showing up on LinkedIn, for example, is just to motivate one young girl who is just stepping out of, who is just graduating with her first degree and wondering, feeling like this is all life is for me. I just want her to look at me and feel like, oh, she's a Nigerian too. Oh, maybe we are even from the same state. Oh, we are from the same village. So she obviously does not have two heads. So it's that's like the motivation. You just want to inspire, and it's truly not to impress. It's just to give that hope, for people to have that hope and have the willingness to keep moving forward. Faith Abba, it's been forever. Like, do you remember Faith Abba?
My education sister,
Yeah,
teacher, so I can't
it's
forget her.
been, yeah, it's been forever. Wow, it's so good to see you here, Faith. It's been so. She said Dr. Augusta and Dr. Amaka sound alike. Yeah, that's the thing now. Like attracts like. I keep saying it. Yeah, it's very. I'm so happy to see you here, and you're right. You're right. It's important for us to really share the knowledge that we know, and I guess that is the whole reason for why one, first and foremost, will take out time from our really busy, oh, my life is busy, oh my god, from our really busy schedule to just come and stay here to share what we know, to just motivate you to want more, right? For you to feel like, okay, maybe this is something for me. Maybe this is
Mm-hmm.
something I may want to learn more about. Maybe this is something I need to go to the DMs to say, okay, can I get to know more? Can I
Mm-hmm.
get involved? Or maybe you as a person just want to go abroad. You want to go to France, or you want to go to US, or you want to go anywhere, and you're thinking it's not possible for you. So we are just here saying, yeah, it's possible. You really can do that if you wanted to do that. So let's look at the chat. We have Patrick here. Patrick says deep knowledge, deep learning. I like to say that this goes beyond the topic. Yep. Thank you for coming. Thank you for telling us. So somebody said you are a lioness. Ah, okay. Okay, so please be reminded that she's not exaggerating. Nigerians are the most haunted on the globe. We are too unique to be ignored. Okay, I like it. Yes, we are, right? It's and everybody is. You just have to tell yourself, call yourself who you want to be, and that is what you become, really. If you tell yourself that you can, then you can. So the international community will use one bad egg to judge the rest of us. You're right. Nigerians worldwide are doing fantastic, and corporations are happy to have us. I say you are right again. You're really right again. It's just that bad news tends to travel faster.
Yeah.
It's just life, right? It's bad news. When one Nigerian does something fantastic, it doesn't carry as much as when one has done something and then it would go all over the place. So that's why we must also not relent. We must never relent on
Mm,
also telling our own stories.
true.
We must not relent in, just when you've seen a way, more or less, try to show that way to other people coming behind you. Try to pave it so that others coming behind you would even have it easier than you did. Because some of us learned some of the things we know the harder way. That's the truth. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
things I know I had to learn the hard way. Some of the people I coach now may not have to go through what I went through. Augusta, you are frozen. It's like the network is finally catching up. Or is it me? Can you people still hear me? Can you give us some reactions, please? Let me be sure. I feel like Augusta is frozen. If you can still hear me, let me know in the chat. I don't know if it's my network or if it's hers. Can you still hear us? So if you want to achieve a dream, approach it like a child asking his dad for a bicycle. Clear thoughts, full drive. Yeah, don't stop asking. Can you still hear me? Is it my network? I don't know if the network is bad on my end or if it's Augusta. I don't see any chats. Can you still hear me? Oh, Augusta is frozen. Oh, okay. I think maybe it's her network. Okay, I could see that she was frozen, so I wasn't sure, but you can still hear me. Okay, thank you. Now I started seeing the chat. I think the network kind of really went. Thank you. I see everybody responding now. It was Augusta that was frozen. I'm sure she probably logged back in. The network was bad for a minute. I thought it was my own network. And I think we were almost kind of rounding up because I wanted us to spend at most, 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes. I really want to thank all of you that has come in again. If you have any specific questions on the conversation, you can ask the questions and I can take your questions while we wait for Augusta to come back in. Let me see if yeah, if you have any question, what's Zion saying? Doing it's not for the week. Oh. It really is not, but it's fun. I think I'm having fun. It's almost similar to, I guess, hosting like a virtual event on Zoom somehow. Just that on Zoom you don't have to multitask as much, right? On Zoom you don't have to multitask as such, but it's fun, and I'm always excited about learning new things. And that's the only reason why I started even a bit late was because, as you all know, I had to move to a different state, graduated, had to move, so it was a lot going on with me. So I wanted to take the time to settle into a new place before picking this right back up. But it's been very interesting. So while we wait for Augusta, I don't know if Augusta is back here. While we wait for Augusta to come back in, I'm also looking at the chat to see if you have any questions. If you don't have any questions, so okay. How do you join the mentorship program for the first time? Sure, okay, you can send me a DM. I think that should be like the easiest way right now. So I could just let you know. Even though you can also search for our academy, Scholar of Mentoring Academy, and also send a DM to the academy's inbox. Either one, either you send a DM to me, or you can also like follow our page. So if you're here, you can do that. That's fine. That should be the easiest way for you. And then Kennedy said, "You've learned a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for the encouragement. I think having you all here to chat with made it fun for us to just keep talking. Yeah, maybe I don't know. It's possible, but I'm sure she will come right back, or maybe it's her network. I'm not sure what it is. Thank you, Zion. I appreciate it. That's it's been wonderful. I wanted to see if Augusta gets back in to give us some of her final words because we're almost winding down. But while I'm calling her with my phone to see. Okay, question. Yeah, I'm going to take the question while we wait for Augusta. Okay, you said the visa situation while attempting American schools. How do people overcome this challenge? Oh yeah, this is a very good question, right? Because the visa is a big deal, right? Because you cannot come into the US, and I guess for most countries, without having your visa. So for the US, for example, most of the time, if you oh, Augusta said her light and her internet tripped off. Oh, okay. Oh, that's sad. So the whole building is on blackouts. Okay. That's fun. So we may have to finish the show without Augusta. So it's good she's giving me that feedback. So I'm not waiting on her. So she had some sort of technical issues, but that's fine. That's life, right? Life is full of ups and downs. So back to this, the question I was addressing. So when it comes to visa situations in the US, trying to come into the US, there's a couple of things that would actually lead to whether or not your visa is granted, right? For students, now we're talking about school. So I'm not going to talk about any other type of visa like the B visa or the H visa, which is for like working or for visiting visa. But specifically, the visa for students to come into the US is commonly the F visa, right? If you want to get that visa, you would have been admitted into a school first. But the problem is that if you have an admission and you don't have funding, the chances that you'll be denied is almost maybe 80 to 90%, even though you have been admitted. Most of the time, the proof of the burden of proving that you can pay through, that you can truly afford to pay your way, is always the challenge. It's always that problem that the consular looks at you and feels like, yeah, I know, I can see that this school have admitted you, but how are you going to pay? So even though you have the money, like you have statement of account, as people typically bring, they bring a statement of account. You say, I have a friend who has admission in the UK for postgraduate study and has been rejected 3 times between 2024, 2022, and 2024. It's very common. If you don't have funding, the chances of them rejecting is very high. Like it's very, very high, they are going to reject it. But if you are fully funded, most of the time they just give it to you. So it's always a case of money and proving home ties, because they will look at it and they will say, you cannot afford to pay. When you get into the US, for example, you're not going to spend the time going to school because you would have to be hustling everywhere to get the money. It's so expensive. You're talking about $40,000, $50,000 a year, sometimes more, sometimes even more than that. So there's really no job that you do, because as a student, you only get to work 20 hours a week. You cannot work full time based on the American school system, that as a student, you have just 20 hours a week to work. So what kind of job are you going to do for that 20 hours a week that can pay for your education? So usually that's what causes the problem. That's what causes the rejection. Apart from, there could be so many other factors, right? There could be that your documents are not right, or you are not presenting well for the consular, you are not answering the questions completely. There is always all of that. But from my own experience, I've seen that most students who get rejected is always a case of, oh, it's like Augusta made it back. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Okay. I was already saying that you were not going to make, welcome back. You said you went to blackout.
It's like I jinxed myself. I was like, no network issue, no issue, and look at me.
It's a good thing that I was here, right? It's a good thing. So I was just answering a question before you got back in. Yeah, so that's always the case. You said that proof of fund, or Rita is saying the proof of fund is a major problem and don't bother forging. They will know. Yeah, that's true. Even if you forge itself, even if it's correct, sometimes they still will not take it. That's the truth. Most of the time, it may not even be forged, but they may not just want to. At least I know for the US, they don't care too much that you're able to show that you have one uncle somewhere with $100 million in their account. Most times they don't care. But if you have scholarship, that's why for most times people who I put through US system, I go about finding the money. The bulk of what I do as a consultant is to help people find the money to go to school. Because when you found the money, your life is easier on so many fronts. You know that the visa will not be denied. But if you don't have scholarship showing that proof of fund, even with your admission for US, I don't know about France, I don't know the system in France, but for US, they will deny it. So someone was asking about why they deny visas, right? So they had, yeah, I got your question, Eremosole. Yes, he was asking why they deny visas even when you have been admitted, because that's very common for US. Did you know that, Augusta? That is very common
Yes,
that you
it's
would get
common.
admitted, and when you go to the US embassy, it's always so
Mm.
heartbreaking because you see so
Mhm.
many people with their admissions. They've been admitted, they have the admission, and then they end up denying them. But you
True.
hardly ever see anybody who has funding who is denied. So it's always that case. So I will tell you to, I would ask your friend. Your friend should try to see if they can get a scholarship if they are really determined to come to the US for school. The best bet for them, and there's money, there's scholarship, even though it's not easy to get, but it's available. If you know what you're doing, you find it. That's the truth, you find it. So if they have money and home ties, what other reason? What kind of money are you referring to? Not your own money doesn't count, unfortunately. Your own money that you have, that you can show, it doesn't count. If they have scholarship in the school and is denied, that's I've never seen that happen, except if that's what you're telling me, that they have scholarship from the school. But for US, even if you have your own money
Mm.
and they will deny the scholarship, they will deny it most times. And I don't know why they do that.
But I think you should emphasize the type of scholarship, like really fully funded scholarship, not tuition fee waiver. Because some
Tuition
people
fee,
they have Mhm. Some
okay.
people have tuition fee waiver, but they still get rejected because they're not really confident that you can fund the trip. Like you see some people come online to say, "Oh, I've gotten a scholarship in this school, but I need money for travel expenses, for
Mhm.
relocation, all of that."
Right.
So there is also that challenge as well.
Yeah, tuition fee waiver is different, right? Because if you have a tuition, sometimes tuition fee waiver means it's not like they waive your tuition, but you still
Mm,
have to pay for your living expenses.
mm, mm,
That's also that's also something big, right? Because in the US, for example, you're paying your rent, or like so many other developed countries, you're paying your rent every month, and
mm,
it's very expensive. So it's not just that you have tuition fee waiver, you don't have a stipend. Most
mm,
scholarship that you get would come with a stipend, which takes the burden of taking care of yourself from you. Because what they are trying to say is that you are able to come to school and focus in school, especially for the US. They don't want you hustling around, jumping around in the street, trying to take care of yourself. They really want you to get that education and go back home if possible, if that's what you want to do. But they really want you to stay focused in doing that, right? They don't want you to come and be derailed, like because
true.
you are so exhausted because it's so expensive. It's not cheap. So that's always the case. So that's the thing. So if you have scholarship and you have home ties and you are denied, then you may have to want to check village people too. That's very strict. Sorry,
So
don't mind.
I'll just add to that, even with your fully funded scholarship, even with
Mhm.
everything, during that interview, the visa officer has the right to deny you based on different reasons. So they are trained, they have some kind of psychology training to
Right.
detect something. So that's why they ask you those questions. And so people just feel like they come like, oh my, I used to say this when I was working in that office. Like people would just come, look at I have scholarship, look at my papers. You ask them question, they'll be like they're not really giving you what you need.
Right.
And
I
I
think
mean, you
it's
have a scholarship,
not.
so what?
You're right. Body language is another thing,
Mm-hmm,
right? It's another thing they look out for and all of those things.
mm-hmm,
So other factors could just be, like I mentioned before, how you are answering the questions. That will go
true.
a long way to determine whether or not you are really, questions like, have you even done your homework, right? Have you done your homework to really know about the school you're going to, why you chose that program, what you are studying, some of the bases. Because it's not
True.
like the question they are going to be asking you further maths question or quadratic equations, right? They would ask you very basic question just to see your confidence level. Because
Mm-hmm.
let's not deny the fact there are people who still come into a country in guise of going to school and never report in that school
Yeah,
for one day. Like they
very
would
true.
never go to that school for one day and things like that. So they want to check all of those things. So that's why. So sometimes how you even present and how you answer your questions, it really goes a long way to do that. Yep. So I
And
think okay, yeah, go
so
ahead,
you're
Augusta.
not oblivious of the fact that some people actually do this application for you. They know that's the way people advertise on the internet. Those people are also saying it. They know
Right.
that there are some people that promise you scholarship. There's some people that will be like, we'll go run down for you, you know. They they know. So they want to be sure that it's really you who, applied, who got that scholarship. They have ways of finding out.
Yeah, I think you've made an important point, and maybe we'll end on that point. That's why I would say that's the difference between an agent. If you're in Nigeria, then it's very the term agent is kind of common. At least I know that's common in Nigeria, right? Where they will say, "Oh, we are an agent, we help you do everything." That's not what a
Mm,
consultant does. At least that's
mm.
not what I do, and I'm sure that's not
That's
what
not right.
Augusta does. I really don't even have the time to help you do everything, but I will guide you.
Mhm.
Right? So that's the difference. The difference is that if you are working with a consultant who already know what they're doing, they will guide you, they will show you what you need to do, they will help to review your document, they will see what you're doing. But there's that level of involvement, there's that level of responsibility. I keep saying it, I say learning is a shared responsibility. If you are not willing to really be involved in the learning process, to really get yourself to where you want to be, nobody can do it for you. Even when that scholarship is handed to you, it's probably you are going to make a lot of mistakes because you've not struggled, you've not done anything for yourself. So that's also another thing. Yeah, that's an important point. So the people that go that route where they just give it to somebody to do for me and they just hand you over a paper, and you come to the embassy, they ask you a simple question, very basic question, and you can't answer it, just best believe that the officer is just going to deny the visa, and you can't even, there's nothing you can do about it. That's how like once they've denied your visa, that's it. You are only talking about going to reapply again. So Augusta, final words. We are at 1 minute, 1 hour 20. Yes, good. We are good on time.
Wow.
I really don't want us to go beyond 1 hour 30 minutes. So can you tie more like summarize your points and just like highlight everything that you've said? Thank you to
Mm.
everyone who have stayed with us all of this time. It's been a pleasure having everybody here. Augusta is frozen again. It's like her light is gone again. Is it me or is Augusta actually frozen? I think she's frozen. Another problem is agents do not depend on them for everything. Make research where you need to know how you are going, and then reasons that you return back after school. Yes, that's another important point. Yeah, that's very true. Because by the time they ask you what are you going to do after school, and you don't clearly show a path that shows that you're planning to come back to your country after school, that's another automatic denial, because you cannot begin to show immigrant intention from when you've not even come to get the education. So that's another important thing. Yeah, she's frozen again. I hope her internet is not caught again. Yep, that being said, you said another one is when village people after you remember to pray. Yeah, I agree with you. I actually agree with you. Yes, you should pray. There is a place of prayer. There is a place of grace. There is a place of favor. We cannot deny all of those things. No matter how much you've prepared as a human being, no matter how much effort you've put in your preparation, you should also know that there is God. God can just show up for you in very unexpected ways to just make the whole process more flawless and more seamless for you. So I think basically there's, yes, she's frozen again. I think she's dropped off now. She's having internet problem. We've really at the point where Augusta is sending a message. She said, "Okay, yeah. So the time her light is also cut off again. I think her internet. Yeah, she sent a message. Let me see. Are you coming back? Are you able to come back?" Okay. So I guess we will be ending at this point. I just want to take a minute to a little bit summarize what our conversation was about today. So our session today was really talking holistically about education consulting, which is especially in line of trying to guide students who have the goals of going abroad for school. In my own case, is the US, and for Augusta is France, and mostly most of the other European countries. If that is something you are interested in getting to, either as someone who is an aspirant or someone who wants to start consulting yourself, then we've had lots of conversation. You may want to recap, to watch, to figure out what are the technical skills that you need. And beyond the technical skills, what are some of those soft skills that you really need to, as a person, to make you a good fit for this role? And then the next Once you have all of these things together, the next thing will be putting together an offer, right? And I would say that is where social media comes in. Social media these days has become a great marketing tool for all kinds of businesses, really. Unlike in the past, where people would have to maybe go and advertise on radio or television or the newspaper. These days, the social media has made it easy that everybody, you can just advertise your business from wherever you are, and people can get to see it, right? People can get to see it. People can resonate with what you're doing, and you begin to have your tribe. And LinkedIn provides a great platform for professional businesses like that, because you would find people of like minds, you find people who are interested in what you're doing. So make sure you are taking the time to build your personal brand. Follow our page. Thank you for being here with us. Follow our page, connect with us, join our next cohort if you're interested in really standing out on LinkedIn, right? If that is something you want for yourself, you see other people doing it and you think that it is impossible. You feel like, oh wow, this place is so daunting, right? You want to now reach out to people who have done it, stay connected to them, find the programs that they're doing, join those programs, be a part of it, and see how you can also begin to build something outstanding for yourself too. It's life is about having the willingness to step out of your comfort zone. You know, you have to have the willingness to step out of your comfort zone. So I guess this is where I'm going to end it today. Thank you all again. Patricia is saying, hi Augusta, happy to meet you during my holiday. Oh, okay, nice. That would be nice. I'm sure she will be happy to meet you too. Augusta is a very nice, she's a very wonderful person to meet. It was a great session. Yeah, let's do it again. Thank you so much. Yep. So I'm going to play my song as we exit. You know, it's as usual, we have to end with a song, right? So thank you all for really coming to spend the time in our first session. I'm excited that I finally got it figured out, and I finally, did it after like having to postpone for a while because of the moving and all of that. I really appreciate everyone who have been here with us. With that said, I'm just going to play my music while we close out the room.